YouTube. I've received a bunch of things over the past few weeks. At least it's been a while. And I kind of just wanted to come on and talk about the things that I've purchased and how I'm using them. So there are about 5 stores worth of items here. And so I'm just going to move a few to the side. And I will start with, actually, you know what, I think I'll start with the art since that's a little different. So let me move things over a little bit. Okay. So I am normally a pretty avowed Daniel Smith watercolor paint user, but I also really like Schmincke. And I had been looking for some raw umber and raw sienna, which is something I don't have. And I found this little, I guess this is like a little limited edition Schmincke Horadam. This is their artist grade watercolor. Little mini tubes in a 12 tube set. It's just in a plastic tube, but I have plenty of palettes. So these come with slightly different colors because I do have a palette of Schmincke watercolors in kind of the more standard colors, but these are slightly different, and so these weren't redundant, and so I really wanted to get this one to help round out my Schmincke collection. This one has pure yellow, yellow orange, quinacridone magenta, quinacridone purple, ultramarine blue, phthalo sapphire, sap green, raw sienna, raw umber, transparent sienna, transparent umber, and Schmincke's Payne's Gray. So these two are the real reasons I purchased it, but I don't have any of these colors from Schmincke, so this was a great little purchase for me. I got this off of Jackson's Art Supply in the UK. And this little Etcher Lab, I've actually had this for a while, and I'd been waiting to see what I would put in it, and it was perfect to put these watercolors in. This is Etcher's, oh boy, 19 well palette. I have their 36 well, and I have that filled with a bunch of Mission Gold paints, but I do find that the 36 is a little unwieldy. The wells are really small, which is fine for a water brush, but I don't want to mess up my nicer brushes by trying to cram it into tiny wells, and I really just don't need that many colors. So these 12 watercolors I put into here. And I really love these little ceramic palettes, and it has a little mixing palette as well. So I put these Schmincke watercolors in this Etcher palette. So I'm excited about that. Moving on, let's do JetPens, since I'm always ordering from JetPens. So I got a few things from there. One is I got these field notes. This is the new The United States of Letterpress memo books. This is in the, and these I just like to have around in my bag or in actually a planner organizer just to jot down random notes. This is very appropriate. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd. If you're in the US, please go vote. But these are, I just really like the aesthetic of these. I also got the, had the National Parks ones from last year. I do really enjoy kind of the aesthetic of these field notes. So that's that. And this one I have right now in one of my notebooks. And then, actually, the reason why I did this, made this purchase was to get this Jibun Techo Light planner for 2021. I do have a Jibun Techo 2020, and I've used it off and on. What I have found, and the reason why I ended up purchasing this, is I found that I do use, there are times when I'm really, really busy where I want more of an hourly layout. Meaning, so, you know, I think most people know what a Jibun Techo looks like. The monthlies, the habit trackers are really nice down here. But the weeklies, I'm not a weekly vertical person. The vertical is just not how I think. But there are times, but they're hourly broken up. And there are times when I'm so busy, I really do need to break up my days by like 30-minute increments or hours. Work is separate, so this is not work, but there are times when there are other activities on top of work that I need to keep track of hourly, and then I whip this out. And so I didn't originally buy this. I didn't originally plan to have this because I've used it earlier this year, and then I stopped using it. But then I realized over the past few weeks, I pulled out my 2020 JetPens to use it again. And it's just because it's really handy to have on hand when I need to get into the nitty-gritty hourly details. So I decided to go ahead and just pick this up because some of these really do go out of stock at some point. And I just remember having a tough time finding it mid-year, like in March or something of 2020. So I picked this up and I hope I'll use it. It's not, this is not going to be my primary planner. I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to incorporate it, but I am using the 2020 version now. And so I do see a use case for when I'm really busy to be able to pull this out. And I also just picked up the tabs because these tabs are they're fantastic. These tabs are very, very low profile. I have them currently, this is my 2020 JetPens in the hand-stitched leather tea cover with an ollie clip. This is, let's see. So this is, I have the idea book here and the 2020, and you can see, I don't want to open it, but you can see here the, this is the pencil board. But these tabs, if you can tell, are just really flush and nice. They're classic, they're functional, and they don't intrude or protrude too much. So I do appreciate those tabs. So that's the JetPens Light Mini, I think. And then I just picked up a couple more of these Zebra Hard Fudenosuke pens. I really like these pens, and I use them to sketch. So these are great. So I picked up a couple more. So those were from JetPens. Let me do Baum-Kuchen. I got, so my quote for 2021, I don't always do quotes, but it just, I don't know, it's kind of fun to do that every once in a while. But trust the process is one of the statements is one of like the taglines for Baum-Kuchen. And it really just resonated with me. I think for next year in particular, trust the process is something that I really have latched onto as a theme. So I picked up this, I guess this is a charm. I will put this on probably a traveler's notebook. And I picked up this stamp. So it's really nice. And yeah, I have found that almost daily, this sentiment, trust the process, has really been helping me out. So I've got those two things, and then let me quickly just talk about this. This is the Baum-Kuchen's own Tomoe River Paper Traveler's Notebook. And it says grid, TRP for Tomoe River Paper. And as much as I love the Midori paper, it's not something that grabs me as much as Tomoe River paper. So this is ready to go in my traveler's notebook because I just finished another notebook. So this one goes in its place, and I'll be putting that in. Now, this, which, I'd been eyeing this for a long time, and I was hemming and hawing whether to buy this. This is the Superior Labor, this is their natural leather, and it's, it's an insert, and I didn't buy it for the longest time because I didn't want a big bulky insert in my traveler's notebook. It's really nice, actually. But I have a pencil burn here. When I saw they made a video of how this is used, and I think one of the things that surprised me was that they use a Hobonichi Weeks in here. Like, it's meant for Hobonichi Weeks. So I thought, oh great, well I have a Hobonichi Weeks for next year, and I should use this as the cover for it. And I will kind of let this double as a wallet every once in a while. Now, that was the idea, and it's great in theory. So this is my Sean Tan The Arrival Hobonichi Weeks for next year. Now, I think what you're supposed to do, and this is what I think I saw in the video, is just to put it in this way. Now, I tend to find and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if anybody knows, let me know please, but something's not, it doesn't quite fit well in this way, meaning there is a big gap here because of this binding, right? There's only so far this book can go in, and there's still a gap here. And just the way that this is, it doesn't, so this cover, this on the front cover doesn't sit flush, and it won't. It just won't. The book sits too far out, and it doesn't close. And that's actually a little annoying, so actually, the solution is actually to put the notebook on this side. Of course, then you lose this beautiful cover, which I don't want to do. So what I decided I'd do is actually put this upside down, which then solves the problem. It now sits flush, it closes, interestingly, here it goes all the way to the end, no problem. Of course, then the issue is that I now have an upside down book, which I really don't love. So I don't know if I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I mean, this isn't rocket science. It seems really simple. So if anybody has knowledge around this, that would be great, because I really, really like this. I want to use it. I'm just not sure how I'm going to use it. It feels fantastic, of course. It's really wonderful craftsmanship. And, you know, with natural leather, I just kind of want to sit and massage it all the time. So it's lovely. But I hope I can use this next year for these weeks. Okay, so that was my Baum-Kuchen haul. What should I do next? Let's do Hobonichi. Oh, Hobonichi. So for the past few releases for Hobonichi, I have entered the lottery to win the Mina Perhonen mixes, the mix of her original fabrics in planner covers, and I never won. So this year I entered to win one, the one I liked the most, which was the A6, and then I completely forgot about it. And would you know it, I won. And so this arrived for me yesterday from Hobonichi. I already opened it, so it's not like this is going to be in its pristine form. It's supposed to be in this white cover. But here's the A6, and it's absolutely beautiful. I would have probably normally chosen an A5 or the Weeks, but I really didn't like giant cat in the front, but I love these. And so I entered the lottery for this one. The Soda Water is one of my favorites. I have an A5 cover in this and in one of the tote bags. But all of these are just beautiful. Just beautiful. I love trees. I love these colors. It's absolutely beautiful. I just put, and I love these fabric bookmarks. I just put this notebook in. This is just a Hobonichi A6 notebook. It came with a 2021 planner, which then triggers a dilemma for me. This is just so, so beautiful. I mean, like, look at this embroidery. This fills me with happiness. It's so beautiful. I think the dilemma that I have now is that in an A6, I had no need for this book. I don't use an A6 book as a planner, as a journal. I didn't need an A6, but here I am, and I have one. And there's just no way I'm not going to use it. It's absolutely beautiful. So I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, like I thought of just kind of using this as like a daily journal, which is great, but that's really what these my traveler's notebooks are for. So not really sure what I'm going to do, but I know I want to do something. I know I want to use it. I have some time before 2021 starts, and I will think of something, because it's really just too beautiful not to use. And there's something about this that, for me, this is not a rough and ready calendar management type of planner cover. It's too beautiful for that. There's something about this that's just screams creativity, and it's really meant to be like a journal. So I think I want to do something journal writing related with this, so we'll see. It came with, of course, the Hobonichi pen, and it came with the Fude pen. This is the first time I've gotten the Fude pen, and actually I tried it and I really, really like it. I usually prefer the Zebra Fudenosuke hard tip. I'm not going to try to do calligraphy because it's rather abysmal, but if I, for example, and I'm just going to go up and then press down hard. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's like a hard tip, which, you know, I typically like, and it's just, that's preferable for me for sketching. This one is much softer, and I would have thought that the softness would make it really difficult for me, but actually, it's actually really nice. So yeah, this is definitely softer. But yeah, it's really lovely. So I will definitely be using this for headers and things like that. So that's my little surprise Hobonichi cover. And gosh, she's so pretty. Okay, that's Hobonichi. And finally, last but not least, I was scrolling through Instagram one day, which is generally a problem for me in terms of purchasing, but I discovered that Bungubox, so I order from Bungubox. I absolutely love their Zodiac mini fountain pens. It's kind of almost exclusively what I use. But I always bought it from the Japanese site. I had to email the proprietor. I'd met her at a San Francisco pen show, and that's, you know, kind of, I learned from her how to contact her and purchase from her from the Japanese site. And I always have to have Google translate the page for me. But anyways, when I was scrolling through Instagram, I think it was last week, I discovered that Bungubox just opened an international site, which is really dangerous for me. But the thing that really got me excited was not just that, but the fact that they had Bungubox Ink of Witch. I have been looking for this ink all October and just could not find it. So I ran over there, picked this up, decided to pick Sweet Potato Yellow as well, just because it's a great fall color for me, and I wanted to get a bottle of it. These are just lovely bottles. I think people tend to not like these compared to the old ones because it doesn't seem, it's definitely more expensive. It's more expensive for less ink, but what are you gonna do? And then I decided to get another mini fountain pen. I don't know, I didn't need it, but I justified it that I rounded out my family's zodiac sign pens for my family's birthday. We don't really care about zodiacs or even know about them, but it seemed like any excuse was an excuse enough for me. So this is a lovely, I don't have a clue what I'd call this color. This is Sagittarius. Yeah, I don't know what I'd call this. Fuchsia? Purpley, hot purpley pink. But as I, you know, I've noted this before, I have started to change my preference in nibs over time from extra fine, like Japanese extra fine, to actually Japanese mediums. I think Western mediums are still too broad for me and really rather frustrate me, but the Japanese medium, and it's, you know, this shift in preference has been purely a result of my love of ink and my frustration with not being able to get as much ink down on paper and see the beautiful qualities. You're not going to really see it with this ink, but I want to see more of the ink. And I think another big factor is that there's something about Tomoe River paper, the properties of Tomoe River paper, where the ink dumps much more onto the paper. And so you get a lot more like pooling of ink. And so you want a finer nib. What I find on other types of papers like Midori and other non-Tomoe River papers, it soaks up more of the ink and it doesn't spread as much. So you can actually stand to have a much broader nib because it just doesn't, it's not as much ink on paper that then needs to dry and all those sorts of things. So the paper definitely matters as well. So I have Ink of Witch in here, and I used her all day yesterday. And I am going to have to be very judicious with even going to look on the Bungubox website, because I will always find something I want. So anyways, that's sort of the stuff that's arrived for me and that I've been using over the past few weeks. Hope you guys are doing well, and go vote. Thank you very much. Bye.